Heute begeben wir uns auf die Spur unserer Geschichte mit Dr. Sam Osmanagich. Und Dr. Osmanagich, Sie sind Doktor der Anthropologie und haben sich mit sehr vielen alten Kulturen auseinandergesetzt und haben zum Beispiel festgestellt, dass es viele Gemeinsamkeiten gibt, wie zum Beispiel, dass viele alte Kulturen auf unterschiedlichsten Teilen des Planeten zum Beispiel auch Pyramiden gebaut haben. Jetzt haben Sie ein Großprojekt, ein archäologisches Großprojekt in Bosnien gestartet. Können Sie kurz erklären, was Sie in Bosnien entdeckt haben?
I have been researching the ancient civilizations and the pyramids all around the world for the last 3 decades. I've realized that the pyramids are not built only in Egypt and Mexico, as they teach us. They are built on all 6 continents. Also, it's so obvious that ancient Egyptians did not have technology to build the Giza pyramids, nor they were used as tombs for the pharaohs. 7 years ago, I first came to the central Bosnian town of Visoko, just 25 kilometers northwest from the capital city of Sarajevo. And then the reason I came there was not the pyramids, but to visit the local museum. But when I saw a hill with 4 sides, triangular faces, 4 corners, the same slope from the bottom to the top, and I took a compass, and compass showed me that sides perfectly match the cardinal points, east, west, north, south. I immediately knew that, based on my experience, this was not a natural hill, but artificial structure covered by soil and vegetation. I've seen hundreds of them in China, Guatemala, Honduras, or Mexico. As a matter of fact, most of the pyramids are like that. Some of them, like Egyptians, they are in the desert, much more south. From 2005 to 2013, this has become the most active archaeological site in the world. Every year, hundreds of volunteers, tens of experts work 150 days in Visoko Valley. So far, we have concluded that we have 5 pyramids, which we named the pyramids of the Sun, Moon, Dragon, Earth, and Love, and a huge network of underground tunnels. There are 7 elements that will forever change our view of ancient history. Number 1, these are the first pyramids in Europe. Number 2, they are the biggest, the largest on the planet. The Sun Pyramid in Bosnia, with over 220 meters, is much bigger than Cheops, 147. The element number 3, the sides of the pyramids in Bosnia have the most precise orientation on the planet, to the cosmic north. Number 4, below the layers of soil are concrete blocks, much better quality than what we can make today. Number 5, these are the oldest pyramids on the planet, over 29,000 years. Number 6, under the pyramids, the most extensive underground tunnel network. And finally, number 7, in those tunnels we are finding the biggest ceramic blocks on the planet, tens of tons in mass, technology. So those 7 elements require the history books to be changed.
Also das ist ja schon mal sehr, sehr erstaunlich. Jetzt haben Sie aber zusätzlich noch verschiedene wissenschaftliche Messungen gemacht und haben verschiedene Dinge herausgefunden, wie zum Beispiel, dass ein Signal von unter der Pyramide ausgesendet wird. Können Sie darauf nochmal näher eingehen? Was hat es damit auf sich?
This project is not only history changing, but it has potential to change our future. We've been using knowledge of experts for energy phenomena, the physicists, electrical engineers, and they've been bringing their equipment, the instruments, to measure electromagnetic fields, ultrasound, infrasound, negative ionization. And we have concluded that on the top of the Sun Pyramid there is an electromagnetic beam, 4.5 meters in radius, 28 kilohertz frequency, which goes through the center of the pyramid, going up. We have measured the strength of the signal, and as we move away from the pyramid, the signal is getting stronger and stronger. Now, this is not a regular phenomenon for our technology. Our technology works differently. You move away from the signal, it's getting weaker. In our case, it's getting stronger. It is type as we call it, non-Hertzian phenomenon. Theoretically, with this signal we can reach any point in our solar system, in our galaxy, and maybe in the universe. So I think there is a lot to learn from the ancient builders of Bosnian pyramids. They were using existing natural sources of energies, according to 3 labs from Belgrade, Serbia, Zagreb, Croatia, and Vienna, Austria. The source of electromagnetism is almost 2.5 kilometers below the pyramid. It's huge iron ore or iron plate. Why iron? Because it generates its own natural electromagnetic energy. The pyramid sucks those electromagnetic fields, making them stronger, amplifying them, and then as a focus beam it goes to the pyramid. Also, we've been measuring ultrasound, which we cannot hear, but we can use our scientific instrument to detect it. The same frequency of 28 kilohertz is measured on the top of the plateau of the Sun Pyramid in Bosnia in radius of 5 meters. So it seems that for 29,000 years the pyramid has been active, sending those signals out, probably out of our planetary system. And finally, infrasound. We measured the frequency of 7.83 Hertz. This is ultra low frequency. Everything resonates in our nature. Our planet had been resonating with frequency of 7.83 Hertz for millions of years, until our technology, including American system HARP, mobile phones, laptops, computers with a lot of bad electromagnetism, started changing that frequency. In 2013 we are already on 15.1 Hertz. This is very bad to our health, because during our thinking process we make brain waves, and those brain waves are affected with the frequency of our planet. The higher the frequency, we are becoming more nervous, under more stress, more aggressive. And guess what? The Bosnian Pyramid Complex, with its pyramid and underground tunnels, are the guides, the keepers of original planetary frequency, which is the best for our physical, mental and spiritual abilities.
Es gibt ja oft die Menschen, die sagen, naja, dass diese riesigen Strukturen, vielleicht auch diese in Bosnien, natürliche Strukturen seien. Jetzt haben Sie ja ganz viele wissenschaftliche Erkenntnisse schon gesammelt, aus denen klar hervorgeht, dass es auf jeden Fall eine menschengemachte, auf jeden Fall eine künstliche Struktur ist, die sehr wahrscheinlich tatsächlich einen technischen Nutzen hat. Haben andere Pyramiden weltweit auch technischen Nutzen? Und wenn ja, gibt es da vielleicht einen übereinstimmenden Nutzen? Wofür wurden die Pyramiden generell hergestellt oder gebaut?
Whenever you have new progressive ideas in any field, there are a lot of skeptics, a lot of people who want to keep the status quo. Same thing in science, music, art, sport, business, politics, including archaeology. In our case, our idea is huge, very progressive. The pyramids are not built only in Egypt and Mexico, but everywhere. And the biggest one are exactly here in Southern Europe, in Bosnia. So a lot of PhDs and professorships are not good anymore. And of course I can understand the obstacles that are coming from the cultural establishment. However, when they deal with this issue, they are saying, we don't believe that the pyramids are there. I think it's natural, it's impossible. But these are their opinions. Opinions in science do not count. Only scientific argument, testing, analysis, dating. And when you have shape of the pyramid, triangular faces, concrete blocks on the surface, inner passageways, underground tunnels, obviously somebody has made a construction complex. So instead of wasting our time trying to convince everyone that we have pyramids in Bosnia and lose 100 years, we have moved forward. We were starting looking for the purpose of pyramids. The pyramids, original ones, built as a superior, as the biggest one, were made as the energy machines, very complex energy machines, and I would dare to say intelligent energy machines. Are there any more on the planet? Yes. The biggest, the oldest, and the most superior Egyptian pyramids are the same, like the biggest Chinese pyramids, less than 10% of the total number, like the biggest and oldest pyramids on the Mexican soil, Teotihuacan, and some of the Mayas, and some of the Peruvians, because they belong to the previous cycle of humanity, or to the previous civilizations on this planet. So they knew about the energy properties of the pyramids. Was there a connection among them? Very possible. If you produce energy beam from one pyramid in Bosnia, Egypt, China, and Mexico, and Peru, and other countries, there is a possibility to catch, to collect those energy beams somewhere in the ionosphere, either with a satellite or with the ionosphere itself. And then, with that huge amounts of energy, you can do whatever you want. You can send a signal back, either to destroy certain goals or to benefit mankind, or you can send it out, or you can make protective shields. So once you have huge quantities of energies, then your imagination is your limit.
Da stellt sich natürlich die Frage, weil wir haben es ja hier jetzt ganz klar mit Hochtechnologie im Altertum zu tun. Wer hat diese Pyramiden gebaut? Waren das verschiedene Gruppierungen? War das eine Gruppierung? Wer war es? Waren es Menschen?
The biggest pyramids are the oldest pyramids. It tells us that there was no evolutionary work, there was no progress. The knowledge has been brought to our planet. Who was that? As a scientist, which is very open-minded, I can say until we have scientific proof, it's very hard to claim it's humans or extraterrestrials or inner terrestrials or entities from this or any other dimension. We need to base everything on facts. In biggest Egyptian pyramids, Cheops, Khafre, Meseret, there are no hieroglyphic symbols, no tools, no organic materials, no painting, not a single proof who, when, how, and why built them. In the case of Bosnian pyramids, we can see constructions, we can measure the energy flows, electromagnetic, negative ionization, infrasound, ultrasound. In the case of the biggest Teotihuacan pyramids, Sun, Moon, Quetzalcoatl, no signs who really built them, but they are there. And we need to find out the way to answer those questions. Who built them? When? The question when? I think we are getting there. Unlike our colleagues in Egypt, Mexico, and China, who are hiding the information about the radiocarbon dating, the Bosnian Pyramid project is open for everyone. Anyone can come, see, check our information, see for themselves. So right now we are going back 29,000 years. So we are pushing back the human history for 20,000 years. It's a huge discovery, and it is based on scientific process, on radiocarbon dating. So if you answer when, then you start asking yourself questions, who was present 29,000 years and being very advanced civilization, not a primitive caveman for sure. So either it was a human society which at one point had a peak in development, not necessarily technological like we have with computers, cranes and automobiles, but maybe with very developed mental powers, and they were able to materialize their thoughts. That's a possibility. Or they were able to use the frequencies, the sound, to shape material, to lift, to transport, to build. That's second possibility. Or like some of my colleagues are saying, that was the knowledge which was not originally from this planet.
Also man sieht ganz deutlich, dass sie andere Wege gehen als die herkömmliche Mainstream-Archäologie oder Mainstream-Wissenschaft. Ich habe gehört, Sie arbeiten zum Beispiel auch mit Hellsehern zusammen, aber auf eine ganz besondere Art und Weise, und zwar schon fast wissenschaftlich mit Hellsehern. Können Sie uns vielleicht kurz skizzieren, wie Sie genau arbeiten mit diesen Menschen und was die Ergebnisse waren?
This is the most open project in archaeology today. From day one, we said it's not enough to get the knowledge only from classical sciences, archaeology, Egyptology, geology. So we have included high-tech disciplines like satellite screening, georadar analysis, geothermal analysis. Then we added the physicists, electrical engineers, math, sacred geometry. So this is from day one interdisciplinary scientific project. But then we said it's not only enough to include our physical senses, and our science is based exclusively on physical senses. We need to add two more dimensions, energy and spiritual. When it comes to energy, you've heard about our measurements and detection, but when it comes to spiritual scientists, unfortunately, most of the people in the spiritual area, they are not scientists, they do not apply scientific methodology. So what we try to do, we try to verify what they tell us. For example, when you have a dowser, and we know that they are pretty good when it comes to the underground water streams. If one dowser says, here's the water 50 meters deep, the probability is 70% that he is right. But if you have 10 or 20 of them, and every one of them confirms that you have underground water so many meters deep, you have at least 90 or 95% chance that you really have water. This is one thing which is very old, for thousands of years. Now, when it comes to some other things like channeling, a lot of people claim, oh, I can channel this being from Pleiades or from Sirius, from Orion. Well, it's very hard to verify. How can you verify one guy saying, I am in communication with the guy from Sirius? Very hard. So what I did, I talked to 6 so-called Akashic record readers. Namely, there is this notion that in a spiritual realm, there is a library with whole knowledge about past and future of our planet and the whole universe. So when you receive information from one Akashic record reader telling you about your reincarnation, your previous life, that's very interesting, but how can you verify? If you ask 5 more people about it, if they confirm, obviously there is something there. But if all of them give you different stories, then it's rather vague. Well, we tried that with the Bosnian pyramids. I showed them the picture of the pyramid and asked them very generic questions: who, when, how, why. Asked them at 6 different times. And I never told them what I was going to ask them, so they could not prepare. Well, their common ground was at least 70%. When it comes to the builders of the pyramids, and when it comes to the energy aspects, they were very close to what we later confirmed with our scientific instruments. So I would say the spiritual knowledge you use as a tool, as a hint, but not as 100% sure method. So I think that this method has worked pretty well for us so far. And then plus, this is the most open project in the world. Anybody can come, they can bring their equipment. We just tell them, whatever you do, you need to respect 2 terms. First, non-destructive research. We don't want you to destroy anything or to steal anything. And second, you share your results with us, so we can share them with the world. And I think that we are slowly getting a big picture of Bosnian Pyramid Complex.
Das klingt nach einer sehr interdisziplinären Forschung, was mir sehr gut gefällt, weil Sie wirklich niemanden ausschließen und selbst auch mit diesen Medien zusammenarbeiten. Stichwort Medien, wie ist es denn mit der Mainstream-Medienlandschaft? Hier in Deutschland hat man noch nichts über die bosnischen Pyramiden gehört. Wie ist es denn bei Ihnen im Land? Sind die Informationen in Bosnien besser verbreitet? Auch die Erkenntnisse, die Sie neuerdings gewonnen haben? Oder wird auch dort das Wissen unterdrückt?
This is a project which attracts a lot of attention. And in Bosnia and in the whole world we can see the polarized sides. sides. You have some people who give us support, you have some people who are against the project, and you have a lot of people who either don't care, they don't know, or they want to see who's going to win. We as a scientist, our main goal is to apply scientific methodology, and every year we accumulate more and more knowledge and information about the project. Every year we organize scientific conferences. 2008 we had 55 scientists from 17 countries, 2011, 12, 13, another 70, 80 scientists. So when you have so many scientists doing their lab analysis and testing and dating and archaeological reports, obviously your base of knowledge is very big. So those who are saying bluntly there is nothing there, comparing to what we already have, they don't have any weight, any value. I think that we are facing remarkable discovery here. It's going back in the past tens and tens of thousands of years. We need to be open for such possibilities. We should not close our eyes. Cultural establishment in Bosnia reacted very negatively in the beginning. Some of the archaeological institutions, organizations in Europe, in US, in Egypt, they were also very negative. They were talking against the project, that it should be stopped. They were writing petitions. Some of the medias were open. They were publishing what we were saying. They were publishing what our skeptics or naysayers were saying. But again, we don't really care what people are saying. What we do care are the scientific results. And they are on our side. So even though people can be saying, well, this project is very controversial, we don't want to publish anything, we don't care. We have our goal, we are going there, we are inviting everyone to come, and this project has become the most positive oasis in Europe. If you have 500 people, most of them young people, from 50 countries, from 6 continents, going to volunteer, going to be active part in a history-changing process, and everything they do with a smile. They come back next year. It means there is something extremely good happening in this country which was completely destroyed in the war during the 1990s. So I think there is a hope, not only for the science, but in this country also for the tourism and economy. So when we combine that, I think it's a winning card for Bosnia.
Was meinen Sie, warum trotzdem versucht wird, von verschiedensten Institutionen weltweit diese Erkenntnisse zu blockieren oder auszubremsen? Und was würde passieren, wenn die Menschheit darüber Bescheid weiß, was zum Beispiel in Bosnien herausgefunden worden ist?
This process in Bosnian pyramid research will forever change our history books and will forever change our future for the better. Two main properties of this project are: we are proving that somebody in the past knew how to use natural energy sources to produce clean energy, unlimited quantities of energies, how to transport the energy wirelessly, how to produce non-Hertzian technology, and how to get the free energy. So one aspect is about the free energy. So once you have the free energy in society, almost everything changes. The corporations, oil and gas, chemical, pharmaceutical, all these industries are going down. Secondly, the second aspect is about the free flow of knowledge. We are showing that there is no place for elites in this project. People from whatever fields they are, and they don't have to be professionals in this field, archaeologists, geologists, students, professors, they just need to be good intentional. They can join us, they can be in the forefront of discoveries, they can do discoveries by themselves, and I think people really appreciate that. So those two things, free flow of knowledge and free energy, should be the base of our future society. Free society, society of free women and free men. And this is something that we should have our goal in front of us. And the Bosnian Pyramid project is about that. So it is not just another archaeological discovery, but something that will change the future of our society. It's coming from a little country, and that's the reason why it is even more visible. More and more people will be coming. Right now we have tens of thousands of people who visit the place, who are aware that there is something big over there. We have 400 or 500 volunteers every year who actually work there for 15 days. When they go back to their countries, to UK or Germany or Norway or US or Mexico or Turkey, now they talk about the Bosnian pyramid discovery and them being actively involved. So right now we have 1,500 ambassadors of this project. This is enormous power. Every year it will be bigger and bigger. So they'll be using, and they have been using so far, social medias, Facebook and Twitters and YouTubes and blogs and web portals, interviews. They talk to their neighbors and families. Now, this is something that you cannot underestimate. Even though we still don't have access to most of the mainstream media, it is irrelevant. We will find a way to get in the face of the people.
Haben Sie abschließend noch eine Botschaft oder ein Statement für unsere Zuschauer?
This is a project which is in Southern Europe, just 1 hour flight from Munich. And I invite everyone to come and see what do we have. The Bosnian pyramid discovery is not a local issue. The Bosnian pyramids do not belong to Bosnia. The same like Egyptians, they don't belong to Egypt. The same like with the big Chinese wall. It's not just a cultural heritage of China. These discoveries, these construction feats, belong to all of us. They are cultural heritage of the planet. The knowledge from their builders also belong to all of us. We need to learn about them and apply them in our civilization. We need to change the course of our civilization, which is going in the wrong direction. The pyramids in Bosnia, with their energy, spiritual, healing, and scientific character and properties, can change our daily life forever. That's why this is an invitation for all of you, people, to come as tourists, volunteers, researchers.
Thank you very much, Mr. Osmanagich, for your work.
Thank you.